Good evening, everyone. How are you? Are you fine? Welcome to the South Lawrence East Educational Complex. My name is Mary Toomey. I'm the principal of the elementary school. It's my pleasure to welcome you here. We're going to start by having Christian Hollenbach give you a few words of introduction, and then we'll get going. Thanks.
Welcome everyone to the spring launch of Appleseed. I'm Kristen Hollenbach and I work for the Greater Lawrence Educational Collaborative as the Enrichment Director. I want to thank South Lawrence East School. Can I have a round of applause? For hosting us this evening. We have so many people for this that we actually split it, so half the group is downstairs in a cafeteria, which is where I'll be soon, so that you're not all here till 9 o'clock at night. I just wanted to mention a few things. Some students have noticed the magazine was actually published today and delivered today, and so we found that some of the pages in the back are not printed. But we have them on the document camera. I want to thank our document camera person who volunteered tonight. So you can still come to the podium, you can still read your piece, and then I'm going to talk to the printer very early tomorrow morning and find out what went wrong and get the copies to your school. So don't worry if you're on any of those pages, okay? So I wanted to mention that this is a unique program. There's nothing like this, the Apple magazines in other communities that is collaboration between different towns. We also run programs including the Pen Pal program, the Academic Bowl, and the Collaborative Arts Awards. The importance of acknowledging the talent of our young people in our communities is paramount, but the benefits of listening to all the voices in our community are the most important and invaluable part of this evening. Parents, if you believe this collaboration and the Apple magazines are valuable to your community, we encourage you to share your thoughts with your school principal and most importantly with your superintendent. Take a few minutes to send an email and let them know how important these programs are to your community. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the local cultural councils of Lawrence, Methuen, and Andover for their support of the Apple magazines. The local cultural councils are part of the Massachusetts Cultural Council. I'd also like to thank the parents, grandparents, and friends that made contributions to this magazine. That is what drives the number that we can produce, so I appreciate that. Do we have any school committee members or superintendents here this evening? They might be started downstairs. Many people collaborate to create the Appleseed magazines. We have supportive principals at every school, like Dr. Toomey. We have outstanding advisors at each school that collect the submissions, send them to GLAC, and edit the final magazine. We have talented teachers who encourage their students to do their very best. We have 12 high school students that represent every high school in the Merrimack Valley that come to our office every Wednesday from 3 to 5 for the entire school year, and they're actually the students that pick what goes in the magazine. So I'm very grateful for my interns. This evening, they usually come to launch nights, but I think they have some spring fever. They're not here this evening. And we have a terrific Friends of the Apple Magazines group. This is a local group that helps promote the magazines in your town. We definitely need more people in our Friends group. It's about 2 or 3 hours a year. So if you have some time and would like to help promote these magazines in your community, I'd really appreciate it. And all the students, you are so talented. We received over 670 submissions just for this magazine, representing 22 schools, every elementary school in Lawrence, Andover, Methuen, and for the first time, the Silver Hill Horace Mann School in Haverhill, and St. Augustine School in Andover. So we're very grateful for you. This Appleseed represents work by students in grades 3, 4, and 5. And students, your piece was selected as the very best from your school for the submission. So I'd like to give all the students a round of applause. So we are filming this evening for Lawrence Cablevision, which will be put onto the other Cablevisions in other communities. When you're called up to the podium, if you do not want to be on television, don't worry, just don't come up with the first round. When we're done doing all of the schools, then we'll stop the camera, and then other students that didn't want to be on film could come up, okay? So I'm going to turn it over to you all. Have a wonderful evening. I'll see you at the end.
Thank you very much. Oh, no. Good evening again, everybody, and my name is Mary Toomey. I'm the principal of the South Lawrence East Elementary, and I have the privilege to have worked with Gleck since we began Appleseed some time ago. It was actually started with applesauce for middle school, and then we launched Appleseed a little bit after that. It's been a wonderful journey to watch our students in Lawrence and the surrounding communities contribute to this literary magazine and have this forum to get together and share. It's not often that we bring our communities together like this, and it's a wonderful opportunity to share the talent that's going on. And let's recognize not only the students that are here, but the wonderful support of the parents who take time out of their day to come and attend an event like this. We know most of you have been working all day, and when you make time to come to school and support what's going on, you send a clear message to your child that something about school is very, very important. So that pride that you have for them and that extra attention that you give, it just comes back and comes back. So we're really thankful that you're here. And we also really need to acknowledge the terrific work of all of the teachers and the coaches who work with our students day in and day out across all of our communities. And thanks to them, we get to see the fruits of this talent come through every single time we do one of these launches. The way we're going to work it, I'm going to have my assistant principal, Louise Perry, here tonight. I have my literacy coach, Katie Zawicki, here. So I'm going to actually, with some fans, I'm going to take a back seat tonight. I'm resting sort of a hurt voice. And the way it will work is that Ms. Perry will call a school, and if you choose to be on film, you'll come down in the first group, okay? If there are any staff members here with the particular school, we really need you to come down with your students to support them. And we'll let you introduce each one. We have a parent volunteer from South Lawrence East here who's going to find the page, so it'll be important to announce the page number. We'll try to get that information over to her, and we will get it displayed up on the document camera so everyone can see in case you don't find your page too quickly in the book. There is a little lift here if anyone needs it, and we'll try to support you all. So don't be nervous. Enjoy. We're here to just congratulate you and enjoy everything that you've done. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Perry. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So the first school this evening would be the Arlington Elementary School from Lawrence, Massachusetts. So Arlington Elementary. I wonder if she told us the wrong.
That's correct. We're starting with A. Is Mr. Wiki in this room? Yes. Mr. Wiki says yes.
So
Okay.
anyone from the Arlington School?
They might be shy. It's not easy to go first.
All right, Arlington School, come on down.
Come on down.
Nope.
Otherwise, you might just jump really high. So that right this way.
Walk along the
Do you
side.
have a staff member here with you? Is anybody here from the school? Is Ms. Bean here with you? No. Okay, that's fine.
Great, well, we're loving
That's
you.
fine.
You're here.
Just give Ms. Perry your name. She's on page 21.
Okay, for our first person is Sayalise Acevedo, and she's on 21, and she has A Tale of Chrissy Washington. So what you do is you read the story, okay?
That's not coming down any more than that.
Okay. Long ago, there was a lady by the name of Chrissy Washington. She was a sailor who could swim 100 miles a day. People said she could kill a shark in a second. Other days, she was taller than a skyscraper. She was an amazing woman. One day, while on her boat, an immense whale appeared to be making big waves. Chrissy Washington couldn't get past it. She told the whale to stop. Chrissy had no choice but to fight the whale away from her boat. The whale got really mad and made bigger waves. Chrissy Washington jumped off her boat and landed on the whale. She turned the whale to swim in the opposite direction, and the whale got mad and turned around in circles until they got dizzy. Before the whale could sink, Chrissy Washington jumped off the whale and landed on her boat. The whale spun a giant hole in the ground. This created the Grand Canyon.
So next we have Erlyn Graciano, and she has a story, Yellow, on page 19. Did I say the wrong name?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Erlyn, she's on page 22. She has artwork on page 22.
Okay, sorry, I said the wrong name. Erlyn Mertiv, and she has city art on page 22. Sorry. No, I didn't hear you.
So what you want to do is tell us what made you draw the picture that you drew. So which one's your, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, tell us about it. So Tom, so let me ask you, what made you draw this beautiful picture of city street? What did it remind you of? Have you ever been out down a street that looked like that?
Yeah, it reminds me of New York.
Nice. And is the sun just coming up in New York?
Yeah.
So it's sunrise in New York City, huh?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Excellent job.
Can we have page 57, please? The artwork that's on page 57. I want to introduce everybody to Amaya Barboza from the Arlington Elementary School. And as soon as we get her drawing up there, the title of her drawing is Degas Dancers, correct? And she did an amazing, amazing job. This is a talented young lady who did such a beautiful job with her dancers and is very shy. So she's just having a little bit of stage fright and doesn't want to communicate too much with us. But she said she'd stand next to me if I introduced her and I introduced her artwork. So could you all encourage her and give her a big round of applause? That's all for you. Good job.
You want to tell us how you do?
Okay, that's as much as I can get. So there it is. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, the next school is Bancroft Elementary from Andover. So if we have any advisors or students from Bancroft School, please come on down. Bancroft? No? Bancroft School? Okay, we'll come back to Bancroft. Okay, so the next school would be the Alexander B. Bruce School from Lawrence. The Bruce School, if there's anyone from the Bruce School. Anyone? Bruce?
Raise your hand, Bruce, so we can see you.
If you're in the Bruce School, raise your hand.
No Bruce, no Bancroft.
No?
No? Okay.
Okay. It's going to make the night go faster. All right. And next we have the Comprehensive Grammar School in Methuen, so the CGS. Come on down.
We first have Molly Bealey, who is a third grader at Comprehensive Grammar School, and she's going to talk about her art. Oh, sorry, fourth grade.
In the morning when I eat breakfast, I have cereal and watch the birds from the bird feeder in the window, and that's what inspired me to draw a bird.
Next is Emily Croto, who's a third grader also at CGS, and she's going to talk about her art called Spring.
What inspired me to draw this was I saw a lot of birdhouses in my backyard,
and a lot of birds went in there, and that just really inspired me to draw it. So.
Next, we have Kaylee Gibney, who is a 5th grader at CGS, and she wrote a story called Space Ranger Lizzie, which is not in the book, unfortunately was not published, but we'll get a new copy soon. Yes, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it's page 62.
Yeah.
Oh, you have way too many words, that's why.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad, Lizzie exclaims as she takes a new present and travels outside. She rips open the box covered with yellow tape and takes out the high-powered telescope. The sound of the bubble wrap popping makes Lizzie's dog, Little Liz, dash away so swiftly a cheetah wouldn't be able to keep up with her. Lizzie roars with laughter. Oops, Lizzie mutters. Lizzie unfolds the telescope, which she names Liz McScope, and after 5 minutes is gazing at the stars. With one quick look, she has already found 19 different constellations, which include the Big and Small Dipper, a bear and its cub, a human ready for winter, a pair of mittens, and 13 more. Then there was what could change Lizzie's life, sitting there surrounded by the stars, the massive round full moon. Her eyes pop out of her head. She stands cautiously where she is kneeling, runs through the 6-foot-high door, mouth open wide, and stumbles to her mom and dad in the library. Mom, Dad, Lizzie shouts even though her parents are right in front of her. As she runs in, she almost knocks over a glass vase filled with flowers. A few drops of water fall onto the shiny hardwood floor. What's all the ruckus? Dad remarked, looking away from his newspaper and questioning Lizzie's excitement. He lays down the newspaper down on the side table next to his chair. I saw it, Lizzie states with her eyes popping out as big as red delicious apples. At this point, Mom stopped sipping her tea and had nearly fallen off her chair, anxious to hear an answer. Knowing her daughter, anything could be coming out of her mouth. What'd you see? Dad asked, having a smile as big and bright as the sun. My dream, sitting in the sky, big and round. Lizzie looked as if she were floating while staring off into space. Again, what? Dad repeats, waiting anxiously for an answer. He and Mom were begging that this time Dad's real question of what would be answered. The moon, but I will need a rocket to get there, a red one with purple stripes and green polka dots and pumpkins. I could decorate it for every holiday, Liz informs, daydreaming big time. Big dreams, Mom. Big dreams, Mom jumps in, giggling at the wonderful imagination of her lovely daughter. Maybe someday when you get older, but right now I think it is time for my sweet little space stranger to fly in her rocket right into her merry bed. Good night, guys, and little Liz. Lizzie sighs with a yawn. With that, she is off to bed. As soon as her head hits her pillow, she falls fast asleep. Wow, this is a dream come true. I'm finally going to reach the moon, and with little Liz. Lizzie is in her dream rocket with her favorite dog. She will walk on the moon. Maybe she will set 2 records, being the youngest girl, 6 years old, to step a size 1 shoe on the moon, and the first dog, little Liz, to be on the moon. Within a few seconds, the records will be set. But right when they were about to walk on the moon, Lizzie was in her bed. She was dreaming the whole time. Oh man, I almost did it. I was there, Lizzie whined. It's okay, Space Ranger. Mom walks to the door of Lizzie's bedroom, talking in a soldier's voice. Someday, Lizzie starts, I will go to the moon and break 2 world records. I know you will.
Next is Emma LaBelle, a 4th grader at CGS, and she wrote a poem called Thunder on page 42.
I am thunder. I roar in my greatest glory. I hit the earth with power. The rocks rumble before me. I slap the ground with my voice. I tickle the ground with my roar. I embrace the sound of my laugh, saying boom, boom, pow. I am thunder.
Dana Littlefield is a 5th grader at CGS, and she's written a poem called The Empty Room. 35.
Give us a second to get the page.
Yeah, we want everyone to see it.
Yeah, we want everyone to see it.
There is a place without secrets, without fights or arguments. All that is there is silence. It sits there, waiting to be filled with dreams and happiness, wishes and excitement. This place is like a piece of clay, waiting to be crafted, to be turned into something wondrous and imaginative. This place is a beginning.
We have something a little different now. We have Victoria Motive, who has written a song, actually, that she's going to be playing. It's called My Song, and it's on page 30. I have Connor Smith here, who's drawn a picture called the Orange Dragon Head on page 32. He's a little bit shy, so I'm going to see if I can ask him some questions about his picture. So, Connor, what inspired you to draw the picture about dragons? Connor said what inspired him is he drew this picture for his Aunt Rita, and he likes dragons.
All right, next we're going to ask the Robert Frost School from Lawrence to come on down. Robert Frost.
All right, we're from the Frost School. First we have Justin Doherty, and he wrote, I Wonder What Clouds Are Made Of. That's on page 49.
I wonder what clouds are made of. Clouds are probably made of smoke. They're probably made of cotton balls. They're probably made of vanilla ice cream. They're probably made of cotton candy. They're probably made of white paint. They're probably made of white gumballs. They're probably made out of white sweatshirts. That's what I think clouds are made of.
I'm told to introduce myself. My name's Miss Ainskull. I'm a 4th grade teacher at the Frost School. All right, our next reader is going to be Edwin Gonzalez and Aiden Grimley. So they're on page 53. They have Sea Monster.
Sea monster fighting a boat.
Doesn't want to hurt you, just wants to float.
Doesn't want to hurt you, doesn't want you to cry.
Sea monster, I just want to eat pie.
Lyric, Iola. So she's on page 34, excuse me, and she has Ode to Spring.
Spring, you can make flowers. Spring, you can make flowers bloom. You can make birds sing. You can make all the snow go away. You can make kids happy. You can make us warm. You can let us play outside. You can make the grass grow. You can let us go to the park and have fun. We can see the ice cream truck every day. Spring, we love you.
Okay, next we have Christian Nelson. No. Angel Ponce. He's on page 55, and he drew Mean Bean Machine. So, just say where you got the idea. Okay, so Angel, he loves to draw, so this is his picture of a car. He's very creative. Okay, Esther Rivera, and she's on page 50 with music.
If you love music more than anything else, you will listen to it every day because you love it so much. You will have to share it with everyone you love and with your friends. But remember to have music in your life and in your heart at all times.
Okay, we have Nathan Tetrol. He is the scientist in the lab on page 22.
The lab is a scary place. The needles are like a pinch of a crab. He creates Frankensteins, and his favorite author is Olive Stein. He likes watching scary movies, but most of all, the sound is really eerie. This is why the lab is so scary.
And we have Kayliana Rios with Beautiful Flowers on page 41.
Flowers are beautiful. Flowers can make you feel great. Flowers are as soft as dogs' fur. Flowers are a sign of warm weather. Flowers are pretty as diamonds. Flowers make the world a better place. Flowers are beautiful.
All right, that's all of us. Thank you.
All right, the next school we have the Gilmet Elementary School. Oh, and could we have the Greater Lawrence Educational Collaborative? Clara Danbach, are you here? Clara? No. All right, then again over to the Gilmet Elementary School. Gilmet, anyone from the Gilmet here? All right, we're going to move right on to the High Plain Elementary School in Andover, Massachusetts. High Plain, please come on down.
Good evening. I'm Susan Farquhar from High Plain Elementary in Andover, and I am the learning specialist there, and I also have the privilege of being the advisor to Appleseed. Our first student tonight is Batul Abbasi. She wrote Lonely Life on page 39.
Lonely life. Do you remember? I do. That lonely man. He was confused, not knowing what to do. His shirt was ripped like paper torn in half. The sad memory still flows in my head like a cascading waterfall. His face was as pale as fallen snow, his eyes filled with sorrow. I will never forget that lonely man.
Our next students are Katie Budinger and Abigail Chow. They drew a picture, Coral Reef, on page 60. We had quite a few students who wanted to work together this year, which we thought was great. Do you guys want to tell why you drew that picture and a little bit about it?
We actually wrote a poem that haiku. Whatever. We wrote a haiku together that went, yeah.
Gentle waves crashing, fish swim through the bright corals, a magical place.
All right. Next is Caitlin Chung, and she drew a picture called Illumination on page 55. Do you want to tell a little bit, where did you draw your picture?
I drew it at my house.
At your house? And what made you decide to draw that picture? Can you tell us a little about it?
Well, it was close to Chinese New Year, so I decided to draw the Chinese lantern, which is a symbol of Chinese New Year.
Nice. It's beautiful. Very beautiful. Thank you. This is Catherine Bravo. She's a 5th grader, and she wrote a beautiful poem called The Ballet.
I heard the soft pitter-patter of the dancers' feet on the hardwood floor. My heart leapt at the sound of the joyous music emanating from the violins. I craned my neck so I could better hear the faint music. The ballerinas' fluttering skirts made a rustling sound as they moved about the stage. All of a sudden, the music started to get louder and louder, and I heard all of the dancers land on the ground with a thud. I was now whisked into a world of my own.
Now we have something that is very interesting. One student from our school, Haley Katz, and one of her friends from another school in Andover, West Elementary, her name is Sophie Goldman, they got together and they made a dress. And this dress they made out of duct tape. It is on page 28, but they actually brought in, a picture of it is on page 28, but they actually brought the real dress in. Come on up. So we got to hear about this dress, that's for sure. Can you girls tell us a little bit about it?
Well, we both love duct tape, so I figured it'd be a great thing to do.
Do you want to stand up here so they can hear you? Okay, and you're tall enough.
We both love duct tape, so I figured it'd be a great thing to do, although it took 4 rolls.
And we wanted it to be unique and colorful, and we added a bow to the front for style. It goes all the way around and it isn't sticky on the inside, so if we found a girl who was small enough, she could really wear it.
Our next student is Ashi Sandeep Akira, and she drew a picture watermelon and tomatoes on page 21. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your picture?
My mother just brought some watermelons and tomatoes, so I decided to draw a picture of those. And the water fountain my father had brought for giving as a gift to someone, but they never took it. So it was in the old corner of my house on this little table. So I drew it with the fruit.
Wow, that's beautiful. Nice job. All right, our next student is a 3rd grader, Lucas Kaufman, and you know that we had a very snowy winter, and I think that he was inspired because, as all children and adults can relate to, he wrote a story about the missing mitten on page 32. Come on up, Lucas. Come on up, buddy. Come on up. He's right there. Right there.
Finally, recess. Wait a minute, where's my mitten? My black, yellow, green, and blue mitten with the red cuff. Is it in my coat sleeve? No. Is it hidden by the other backpacks? No. Is it in my own backpack? No. Mixed into cubby too? No. Okay, I give up. It's probably in the lost and found. But, okay. Next line is missing.
Okay, well, go ahead. First mitten.
Back already? Curse you, Mitten! I missed recess and lunch because of you. Wait a minute, what's that on the hand? My mitten!
Our next student is David Grossman. He's a 5th grader, and he wrote a musical piece on page 58 called Flight. Sure. I think you could. Our next student is a fourth grader. He also, Connor Moses, he also happens to live across the street from me. And Connor drew a picture called A Happy Labrador on page 49. I'd like to think that it was my dog that inspired him, Bailey, but I think we'll give Connor a chance to tell us about his own artwork. So Connor is a very talented artist. He submitted many drawings of animals. So what do you like to draw, Connor?
I like to draw animals and
eagles.
Eagles. I also submitted a tiger, but it didn't get in. And
do you like to be in nature a lot?
Yeah, I like to.
And do you mostly like to draw with pencils, or do you use...
Yeah, I don't really use, like, markers or...
And you just sat down and drew the picture?
Yep.
And was Bailey your inspiration?
Mm-hmm.
I like him. And our next student is Corinne Olnowski. She wrote Scared on page 45.
When I am scared, darkness falls over me. Fear overwhelms me. When I am frightened, I feel I'm stuck in the mill, not knowing where to go, no sense of direction, don't know what to do, overtaken, powerless.
And that's it. Thank you very much.
All right, next can we have any students from the Leahy School in Lawrence? The Leahy School? Leahy? Is anyone from the Leahy here? All right, then we're going to move to the Marsh Grammar School from Methuen. Marsh Grammar School, come on down.
Can I introduce you? Yes. I have the privilege of being Colby Bard's teacher. He's in the 4th grade at the Marsh Grammar School. Colby is autistic, so sometimes he has difficulty communicating with people, but one thing he does every day is he writes, and he often writes about things that are important to him. So he's going to read you his poem called Special Activity. You can stand here. You don't need that. Here, read.
We're having a special activity. Yay, special activity. Oh boy, this is great. Absolutely, yes. I can't wait.
Okay, our next person is going to be Abigail Thaberge, and her artwork is on page 17.
We were in art class and we were assigned a project to draw birch trees. And for the background, we could either choose cool colors or warm colors. And I decided to make it like a sunset in the background, so I chose warm colors.
Hi there. Our next student is Sam Kalivas, and he has artwork on page 60 titled The Kick.
What inspired me to draw this was because I really like football. And because when I played it last year, we were doing field goals and I tried out, but I wasn't that good at it.
Okay, our next reader is going to be Carrie Horan, and her piece is called The Robin on page 14.
As I walked past the oak tree, it seemed like almost the first time I noticed it. I climbed the rough branches and scraped my grass-stained knee. I sat down on the branch and looked out into the meadow. I jumped a little inside when a robin landed on my shoe. Although my shoes were red, it seemed that the robin's chest was brighter. We looked at one another, neither of us blinking, and we just sat in the old oak. The robin jumped from branch to branch, looking as if it wanted me to follow. Then the robin stopped and looked at me and started to climb the tree. It climbed again, and I realized, could a robin be a friend?
Our next student is Stephanie Henrik, and she is on the inside front cover with an artwork called Reading is Turtly Cool. All right, Stephanie, can you tell everyone what inspired you to draw this?
Well, I love turtles, and so I just sat down after I did my homework and drew a turtle.
I'm really interested in where you came up with the title. How did you come up with the title of this piece of artwork?
Well, I have socks that say Turtly Cool on them, so...
I love it. And is there anything else you like to draw?
Not really.
Excellent job.
All right, our next reader is Carrie Davison, and her piece is called Swim on page 29.
Splash! Gliding through the water I go, reaching for the surface. The crowd roaring. I could hear people calling and cheering my name. The other opponents were catching up, and I was slowly lagging behind. I picked up my speed and darted across the water, inching closer and closer to the finish. Bang! I hit the wall. Slowly checked the scoreboard and was extremely happy to see the number 1 next to my name. I had come in first. All of my work had paid off.
Our next student is Madison Naroyan, and she did artwork which is located on page 63 called Doggy's Fun Time. And 63 is not in the book, but you can look at it right up on the screen.
What made me get inspired was that when my mom was little, she had an apple tree in her backyard, and then she had a dog. And then the dog always ran by the apple tree, and when an apple fell, the dog bit it. So that's what made me get inspired.
Okay, our next artist is Jasmine Nguyen, and her picture is on page 40. And she's going to tell us about it right now.
You can correct me, I'm okay.
I got inspired because I hate winter, so I decided to draw a spring day since this is the spring edition.
All right, the next school to come down is our very own school, the South Lawrence East Elementary School. Please come on down, boys and girls. We are also fortunate to have our art teacher, Greg Lammers, present with us tonight to help us present
Hello, my name is Greg Lammers. I'm the art teacher here at the school. Let's see, we have Elias Rodriguez, and his name of his picture is called How I'm Different, and that's on page 51. Want to tell us a little bit about why you made it?
Why I made How I'm Different is because I was in a class, so I free drawed because they let me, and I just drew that picture, and I didn't want it to get sent to Appleseed, but it did.
Sorry.
Next up, we have Jadis Negron, and he's on page 53 with his poem called Lines.
Parallel lines never touch. You go this way, I go that way. We will never meet each other. We mind our own business like people should do. We are not intersecting lines or perpendicular lines. We are different lines.
Next, we have Monica Say on page 30. Monique Say on page 38. A New Year.
This is a year to be happy. This is a year to enjoy what's going on. I know this is a year to be grateful for what has been given to us. This year, I'm going to do all these things. Be happy, enjoy what's going on, and be grateful.
Next artist is Diana Lantigua. She has a picture named Nature's Beauty, and that's on page 23. Tell us a little bit about why you made the picture.
I do it because I know that nature is beautiful, so I called it Nature Beauty, and I think nature is beautiful.
Next up is Jordan Brito, and he wrote a beautiful poem on page 29 called Depression.
You want to be happy, but you feel like you're stuck in a cage. You want to be free, but you are trapped in your own feelings. Freedom is not there yet. You want to escape, but you can't. You keep trying and trying, but it won't work. Feeling sad about yourself, and you won't be happy until you escape.
Next up, we have Kiara Morera, and she's on page 31 with a poem called Love.
Love, I kiss you when you need it, it kisses you back. Love, I miss you when you leave it, it misses you back. Love, I touch you when you least suspect it, it touches you back. Love, I look at you when you need it, it looks at you back. Love.
Let's see. I lost my place. No. All right, we have Francesca Gonzalez, and her name is the name of her artwork is Peacock Colors. That's on page 24. Can you tell us a little bit about your artwork?
The thing that inspired me to draw this picture because...
Oh, wait. I gotta look. I gotta get the picture first. That's 24. There we go. Okay.
The thing that inspired me to draw this picture is that I love birds and I love the beautiful colors.
You know, I was just going to say, since I'm one of the art teachers, that sometimes the projects are inspired for this artwork, but it seems to me by going to some of these events and these openings that most of the kids just It's called, they say it's free draw, so it's mostly things that they're just interested and inspired by. So I'm here to support them, but I really don't have a lot to do with what they pick and what they're inspired by. So it's just interesting to see every time I come. Thanks.
All right, so that actually was the last school for this section, but I would like to call down anyone who came late or didn't come down earlier. So is there anyone here who got here a couple minutes late and maybe missed their school? I know someone from the Arlington school, come on down. Don't be shy. If anyone came in late, please come down. I don't want to miss anyone. So if you came in late or didn't get a chance to read or tell us about your projects, please come on down. Don't be shy. I know there's a couple more of you maybe, huh?
Hi, we have Arlene Graciano from the Arlington Elementary School, and she has a poem called Yellow on page 19.
Yellow is the gleaming sun that warms you up. Yellow is the sponge you see in the kitchen. Yellow is the shining street lights. Yellow is the butterfly on my windowsill. Yellow is the taste of lemonade on a summer day. Yellow smells like a beautiful sunflower. Yellow sounds like a bee buzzing on a primrose flower. Yellow feels like a soft baby chick. Yellow looks like the feather of a canary. Yellow is the feeling happiness.
Okay, next we have Amy Lou from West Elementary in Andover, and her drawing is on page 13. She's going to tell us what inspired her to draw such a cool picture.
I drew a baby dragon.
Wait a minute, let's wait till we get the picture up. No, stay here. You're talking about don't have it on the screen yet. Page 13. That's cool. That's super cool.
I drew a picture of a baby dragon because my dad was telling me what I wanted to draw, and then I said dragon. So he drew like a picture of a dragon, but I couldn't get it right. So I just drew my little own way of drawing a dragon. So, yeah.
All right, so this will be our last call for anyone who didn't get the opportunity to come down and share their piece.
While we're waiting, if there's anybody else that would like to come down, I'd also like to say thank you to Amelia Calixto. She was pulled out of the audience to lend a hand, turning the pages, and she did a wonderful job. So let's say thank you to Amelia.
And again, we'd like to thank all the parents for supporting their children in such wonderful musical pieces, artwork, and pieces of writing. This is our future, so thank you very much. And boys and girls, great job. Thank you. Keep up the good work.